We'll both record it.
Okay, since I'm recording.
Wait, actually, since you're recording to cloud, I'm just gonna
It
not.
allows me? Yeah. Okay, perfect. Let's go, guys.
Here.
Tells me it's recording. So
All right. All right. Let's run it.
Okay, so our team is called the Team T, and we are observing UFO behaviors. So topic and motivation. Our research question is, when are the most common UFO shapes likely to be sighted based on time of day and month? We were intrigued by a massive UFO sighting dataset spanning over 100 years, filled with oddly specific details like when, where, and what shape people saw in the sky, like a light to a triangle. This made us curious about when certain UFO shapes are most likely to be seen, and by exploring patterns in time and shape, our project aims to better understand and possibly predict these sightings. So for our data set includes over a century of UFO sighting reportings with detailed information on when, where, and what people saw. The key variable we focused on is data shape, which includes reported UFO shapes like the light, circle, and a triangle, and other variables included date sighted month and date sighted hour, which tells us the time of the sightings.
for our methods, we started off by cleaning the names of the variables with the janitor package, replacing all periods with underscores. Then we used filter and mutate to calculate the frequencies for the top three shapes. We got that those with over 5,000 sightings were the top shapes, which was triangle, light, and circle. We used these for our analysis. Then we applied a logistical regression model that incorporates the predictors of hour sighted and month to predict the response, which is the shape, through an additive model since it better fit for us. Then we use specify for each of the shape and bootstrapped for 10 reps. We had over 60,000 rows, which is why we used only 10 reps since our studio would fail every time we tried a value higher than that. Then we tidied the logistical regression models and made visualizations for the bootstraps results. Here we have the proportion of the top shapes, and we found that hour of day was significant for the light variable. As you could see later in the day, it had a peak. Then afterwards, month was very steady.
And so here's our visualization of the bootstrap data. We put it into histograms just to make it as easily digestible as possible. The red lines indicate the 95% confidence intervals that we calculated for the bootstrapping. The blue line indicates the actual coefficient that we saw from our data set. And so as you can see, the confidence interval for triangle and circle contain the value 0, and therefore the relationship between hour as a predictor of the likelihood of seeing of a triangle or a circle sighting is statistically insignificant, whereas since light does not include 0, then there is a relationship between hour and the likelihood of sighting light UFO. And so just to summarize, based on our 95% confidence interval, we are able to conclude that the time of day is a statistically significant factor in predicting light-shaped UFOs. However, we are unable to make this conclusion for the month. In addition, we are unable to reject the null hypothesis for both time of day and month for circle and triangle, as both confidence intervals, or as all 4 confidence intervals include the value 0.
Okay, and so some conclusions that we were able to draw from this project. First and foremost, we can conclude that the time of day is a statistically significant predictor for the shape of light. Such it means that the chances of seeing the light UFO is dependent on the time of day. Secondly, we were unable to reject the null hypothesis for the relationship between month and the shape of light. And we are also unable to reject the null hypothesis for the relationship between time of day and month for circle and triangle. Some next steps we want to do is continue to review relationships between other variables as predictors and shapes, such as which UFO shape is most likely to be spotted in the state of Arizona, for example. And then lastly, we want to work with the National UFO Reporting Center saying the criteria for rendering a report credible, or use another data set that is clear credibility to enhance our knowledge of this material.